Arna Johnson and Geralyn Kamaha'olani Camarillo. Hopefully I got that right.
Got that right,
Yep.
sister.
This is Regina Schultz, and I have Karen Copeland and Renee Ben Ruby, and I have Dr. Joni Kirk and a whole host of other people. We all got together early this morning to hang out with these two ladies. We're so excited. Some of us got up extra early and got on, just waiting. Are they there yet? Are they there yet? So I want to tell you, for the people who are watching us that aren't with us this morning, who these women are. So I'm going to try to contain the largeness that they are into this little tiny description. So I'm just saying right off the bat, can't be done. But I'm going to try. So first, let me say, we're talking with them today about who are you looking for in your Purium business? Who are you looking for? And the flip side of that, who are you being? So it's going to be an interesting conversation. I can't wait. I met these ladies too. I met these ladies just a couple of weeks ago. They were stranded. They were stranded in Carmel, California, of all places to be stranded. And they didn't have a ride to the airport, which was my good fortune. So I went out and picked them up, and we ended up spending the whole afternoon together, and we had a lovely, lovely, lovely time. So here's what I want you to know. So many things about them. They live in Hawaii. They embody the spirit of aloha. Let me tell you, if you've never been to Hawaii, or even if you have, the aloha spirit is a real deal. It's a real deal. It's about giving and loving and being in your heart, and cooperating, and allowing. And these ladies are all about those things. They embody the spirit of aloha. They're also, I found out, trained in the ancient tradition of their kahus. So it comes from the ancient tradition of kahuna, which I did a little digging, and I found out that it actually means keeper of the secrets. A kahuna is a keeper of the secrets. And so these ladies are keeping some secrets that they're going to share with us today regarding how we can blow up our Purium business. So actually they're kahus, they're practicing kahus, and it means light worker, right? And maybe Arna will or both of them will share a little bit about the kahuna and the kahu thing with us in a minute. They joined Purium 18 months ago. They're professional photographers. They have limited network marketing experience, and they came in 18 months ago to Purium, got the light bulb turned on, and they just went for it. And now they have risen to the top of the second top income earners in the company. They're making multiple six-figure income, and we're fortunate enough to be just downline of them. So with that, I will turn it over so we can use the bulk of the time for us to share for them to share the secrets with us. So good morning, ladies. Thank you for joining.
Good morning, Regina. Good morning, everyone. It's so awesome to be here with you, bright and early this morning here in Hawaii. And I don't know if you can hear it, but there is a rooster crowing right outside our window. It's morning. And anyway, we're so happy to be here. Thank you, Regina. We had such a great time with you. Thank you for saving us and picking us up and whisking us away from Carmel. Oh my gosh, we'd be stuck in Carmel. Jeez, that was tough.
Hard life. Hard life. So ladies, start with telling us, how did you do it? Tell us your Purium story. Tell us how you got where you are.
Why don't you start with that?
Well, good morning, girls. It's so cute to see all of your smiles this morning. I just love it. So we started off as, so we're professional photographers, and then we're each making a six-figure income here in Hawaii, but we were also in debt a lot because of our businesses. You know, we had $9,000 of business expenses every month, and then our mortgage, it was $7,000. So it was about $16,000 that we had to pay out every month, and before we could even pay ourselves. And of course, then the 2008 recession hit. I don't know if any of you girls were affected by that, but that was a nightmare. And so that's when everything kind of went downhill for us, where we lost our home to foreclosure. We each needed to file for bankruptcy, and then we were forced to close our businesses. So there we were, penniless, close to getting onto food stamps, and we had no place to live. Now, thankfully, though, Arna's mom was able to open up, she had a rental unit still available, and so we were able to move in, and so we at least had a roof over our heads, which was awesome. And then, you know, because of all the stress, we physically got, we were physically in pain. I mean, you guys,
Unhealthy.
and unhealthy. And so when Purium came around, all we needed and all we wanted to do was to get healthy. We didn't want to join another network marketing company. We've been doing it for over 20 years, 7 different ones. In fact, I just joined a network marketing company that year. So we were really focused on getting healthier. And of course, as you all know, what happens when you do the 10-day transformation, right? Each of you have experienced the magic, the success, and then all of the people starting to ask, what are you doing? So in the month of August, we did our 10-day transformation of 2013. Then both successful transformations. And then we thought, oh my gosh, people are asking us. We don't have to chase after anyone to try to sell this thing. And so that's when we decided, okay, we're going to start passing out those gift cards. We had no idea what those gift cards meant. And in the month of September of 2013, just by passing out those gift cards, we made over $6,300. That's when we thought, oh my gosh, this thing is incredible. Not only do we have this incredible product that people love, but we also have this marketing system that's so easy to share and not sell, the 10-day transformation. So that's how our journey started. And we went on the 90-day run from Diamond. We did Diamond in 27 days in September by passing out the gift cards, and then we just, one month after the other, just rank advanced. And then here we are, humbly before all of you, as one of the top income earners for Purium. And thanks to those 2 products, the gift card marketing system and the 10-day transformation, that's how we were able to get out of debt and also now be able to help Arna's mom. That was one of our biggest whys, is helping her 81-year-old mom not to stress out and not to worry anymore. And I know if you have your mom still around, that's one of the main things, right, is to be able to take care of them. So that's one of our greatest whys, ladies, is taking care of Arna's 81-year-old mom. And that's our story in a nutshell.
Well, that's a perfect segue, because my next question was, tell us about your why.
Yeah, so that's been a huge reason for us to do this month after month after month is, I always feel like, when you hit 75 or 80, that you should get a free pass to life, because, that's just what I feel, but unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. So I was watching my mom, and she was stressed out about paying the bills, and we had lost all of our money, and you just get this burning desire, this hunger to improve your life in whatever capacity that is for you, whether that be, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, or financially. And we prayed long and hard for something to come along, because as Geralyn was sharing our story, we lost everything. After the recession hit, we both were forced to close our businesses. We both declared bankruptcy, and we lost our home to foreclosure. And those were 3 major incidences that brought us to a place of you're basically stripped down to nothing. We had no money in the bank account. Thankfully, Mom had a home for us. And so there's this hunger to start all over again, and this time we had a clean slate. We didn't have the headache of the brick and mortar businesses anymore. We prayed for something to come along. A friend introduced us, and she gave us a canister of the love, and she gave us a $50 gift card.
Yeah. So the why is basically that's our biggest why. Because even if I'm thinking about it, I move to tears. This beautiful woman who gave birth to Arna, she's a firecracker. She's still got so much energy and love and life to her, but there's also still the stresses of financial stresses that she should not be having to worry about. So when I think about my why, what gets me out of bed, what gets me up at this time to be able to hang out with you beautiful ladies, I think about her mama. And also the other why for us is to be able to create this financial abundance, to be able to give back to our communities. Now that seems so but really we have dreams. We want to open up an animal sanctuary on the Big Island to be able to save rescue animals, um, and also to just be able to help others who are in need. I personally have a dream to be able to go back to the Philippines and help out the children there who are unable to have just the basics of clothing and school items. So that's one of my whys. But the why that right now that keeps us moving forward is definitely being able to provide a comfortable life for Arna's mom. That's our biggest why.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. Um, you know, your why changes over time. And for me in the beginning, I just wanted to lose 30 pounds. That's all I wanted to do. Just lose 30 pounds. Well, that happened. And so then my next why was to, when we saw that we could make pretty good money at this in just 1 month, in our first month, $6,300, we thought, wow, if we could do that in 1 month, imagine what we could be making in a year from now. So it was the drive that just kept us in the game. When your why, and that money, it sounds so superficial, or it sounds, I mean, everybody wants money, right? But you have to find out what is the why behind that. Why do you need that money? For us, it was basically to put ourselves back together again, and to help my family, help my brother. We have this amazing family property that was basically all rental units that we're now able to tend to the land, we were able to hire folks to come over and help us clear the property. Um, we live in a rainforest. We're surrounded by banana trees and avocado trees, and it's like living in a jungle. And so my brother and I have been able to clear the property because of Purium. We're so grateful that we're now able to afford to hire people to help us to clear the land and take care of this Aina that we call home.
It's beautiful. That's beautiful, and I think so many of us can relate to. We all have aging parents. I think for the most part, the girls that I'm looking at here. I'm not sure about Joni, but I know Renee's got a mother in how old? She can't tell me right now, but I know her mother's like 90s, in her 90s maybe.
Wow.
And I know 91, okay. And I know, Karen's mom, my God, she looks like she's 25 now after Purium. But, Karen's, been contributing to and caring for her mom as well. And, my mom's starting to get older and she's having health problems. And I'm thinking along the same lines, I've got a brother that's suffering, financially, has been suffering financially for a long time. And I would love to be able to help them out, So I get it. So, talk to us about the business aspect of this. Talk to us about, like one of the questions that I have is, when you're going out to build your business, do you always lead with the product? Do you always go out and just share the gift cards with people? Or do you look out into your world and say, that would make a good business partner? And then, like, how do you know that? What are you looking for in business partners? So I'm sorry, I asked you like 3 questions all at once. Let's back up. Let's start with what are you looking for in business partner? Who are the people you want to do business with? And I'm going to plug in my computer while you're at it.
So pre-qualification, right? You know, it's interesting when you ask that, because when we're not, to be honest with you, when we're out there in the big wide world, we're paying attention to what people are saying. We're listening to what it is that their needs are, right? So we could lead with the product, and we could lead with the gift card. Now, it really depends upon what they're actually needing, if that makes any sense. So pre-qualification for us would be someone who's obviously, I think, excited, intelligent, bright, and has a gusto for life, and knows what they want. To some degree, they know what they want to some degree. Yeah, so I'm for myself, when I'm out there, I'm constantly listening. I have my ear open, and whether it be at a restaurant or at the bank or at the gym or wherever I'm at, I'm always paying attention to what people are saying. Because when you listen, you can actually hear there's cries for help. And there's cries for help, I think, mostly in pain of health. So most of the time, I'd say 80% of the time, I lead with the 10-day transformation. How about you, Arna?
Yeah, yeah. Wherever we are is, you know, and wherever people are, there are opportunities everywhere.
Right.
Whether it be we're shopping, and we're talking to the sales clerk, or, you know, person sitting next to us on a plane, or sitting next to us in a restaurant. You know, those are the people that strike up conversations with, and as you just get to know these people and just ask them questions, find out who they are, what's going on in their lives, you know, what's important to them, you know, where they're at, what their needs are.
The key is to listen. Do not talk about yourself so much. The key is to listen. And I have people where, you know, well, I'm listening to what they're saying, and then they'll ask me, so what is it that you do? And I'll briefly, just very briefly say something. Well, I'm a health and wellness entrepreneur, but tell me about your mom that you were just saying that you were visiting her in California. I will purposefully revert back to them. So, because you want to be interested, not interesting. And that's what people will remember. I mean, you'll hear that time and time again, girls. Be interested, not interesting. Talk to people and listen to them. Listen to their stories, because they'll walk away feeling like, wow, this is so cool. That person really cared about what I was saying. And I think a lot of nowadays, I feel, people just do too much of this, and they're not really paying attention or listening to one another anymore. So that is definitely one of our biggest tips, is to be interested, not interesting, and allow people to share their stories and ask, like Arna said, ask questions. Ask a lot of questions.
Yeah, yeah. You want to be sure that you're allowing them to do most of the talking, and you're just, you know, registering everything that they're saying, you know, and then that's what's going to lead you to finding an opportunity to help them in some way, whether, because they're going to say something along the lines of, you know, perhaps they're tired, perhaps they work 2 or 3 jobs, perhaps they you know, they're tired of working so hard, you know, and not making much money. Perhaps it's their health. Perhaps they want to lose 10 pounds.
You know, and another thing too is not to prejudge. Arna just taught me a valuable lesson, and she doesn't even know this, so this is brand new to her. So we have these chickens, right? We have the pig, and so we go to the feed store. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever been to a feed store, but it's not the most glamorous place ever, right, Dr. Tony? It is not the most glamorous place ever. So Arna had been dripping on this young boy who's about 27, the owner's son, who works at the feed supply store, hauling grain and all this kind of stuff. And so she had been dripping on this boy for a while, and he finally said, Auntie, I really want to do the 10-day transformation, which shocked me because I totally prejudged that the feed supply guys would not be interested in doing the 10-day transformation. And so the next thing you know, this 27-year-old boy is hounding us for a 10-day transformation because he really wants to lose weight. So that taught me a valuable lesson, not to prejudge anywhere you go. And the next thing you know, now this young man is doing the 10-day transformation. And I said, what about your dad? And he said, well, my dad is watching me to see how I do on this thing. So how wonderful would that be to get these local men and boys healthier? And it all started because Arna built a relationship with this young boy who constantly gets the grain for her and loads it up in the car. And she dripped on him for, I don't even know how long. How long did you drip on him?
For the past couple months.
For the last couple months. And then it was just the other day that he said, I want to do it. So I think that's a really great example. Thank you for dripping on him.
And you know, I look at this young man and he looks healthy, but you know what you don't see is that his body is crying out. You know, he's got a lot of health issues, and when you start a conversation with somebody, you can help them. You know, there are just so many ways that you're able to help them.
That's awesome. When you so then that was another question, is like, where do you find them? And the answer is everywhere, right?
Everywhere. Apparently the feed supply store.
The feed supply store. I wrote that down.
Right.
I hope you all wrote that down. Feed supply
store.
Got it.
Dr. Jody.
I get the yellow pages out. How many of the feed supply stores do I have in my area? Go do a healthy happy hour in their back room in their warehouse.
Right. Yikes.
And on top of the forklift.
Yikes. Oh, gosh.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, people are everywhere.
So when you do lead with the business, so if you are out and you're talking with someone and the pain point is financial, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you lead with the business? Do you still say, have you ever heard of the 10-day celebrity transformation? Do you start with that, or
no? I would say, have you heard about Purium and the $50 gift card marketing system? And normally it's no, and so that's when I usually, then you like you would do with the Purium 10-day transformation, you refer them to the tools. And then if you have a gift card on them, you kind of show it to them and go, this is a $50 gift card. How would it feel to be able to give the gift of help to someone else and get paid for doing it? Would you like to make like an extra $50? And usually, and it depends on who you're talking to, you know, whether it be the farm supply boy or a doctor, for instance. So it's a different conversation for everyone. Like with a doctor, you don't talk about $50, you know. You have to come in from a different angle, but I would definitely refer them to a higher source, which is either the brochures or the website or something, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I always, well, you know, we use Prosper Magazine quite a bit these days, and that's an amazing tool because
keep talking. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, the Prosper Magazine, you can use it for many different, you know, just whatever needs there are, whether it's somebody want to get healthy or, you know. But what I always like to do is I draw them to our page, and I'll ask them to read our story, because in the story it touches upon so many different important aspects of our journey that can help so many different people with theirs, you know, whether it be, you know, the need to make money, you know.
Or you refer them to another story in the magazine. The different crowns have so many various stories with different backgrounds. It's a powerful tool to be able to use. So, yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah, it's a great tool. What else?
Well, she was asking about leading with the business, so that's what it's like. Same thing with like the 10-day transformation. You know, it's getting them to a higher source, and then just finding out their needs as far as financial needs. You know. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I simply, ask people, well, could you use an extra $500 a month, an extra $1,000 a month, and then I'll walk them through the process of how they can do that,
Yeah.
and how easy it is to do that, and so.
Hi, ladies. This is
Hey, Karen.
Hi. I'm going to step in for just a second. Regina, for some unforeseeable reason, dropped off, so she is trying to get back on.
Okay.
So I'm sure I won't do justice to her interview style, but it's nice to say hello. But you ladies mentioned the Prosper magazine. Do you happen to have one sitting there where you can hold it up so people know exactly what you're talking about?
Oh yeah. Yes.
Beautiful.
How
And can you?
many of you do you have the Prosper magazine, Karen?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And maybe you can explain to those that are watching why you feel the Prosper magazine is such an important tool to have, because most of them aren't as advanced as you or the Mastermind 5.
Absolutely. You know what? Say, for instance, Dr. Joni approaches us, right? And we have a conversation with her. What's so great is that we can turn to a part of the magazine and go, hey, doctor, just take this magazine and take a look at this article of all these awesome doctors who are involved with Purium. And I really feel that is it just makes it so credible, or say you've got athletes, then you turn to the athlete section and share with them about the power of Purium. Look at these amazing athletes who are on the 10-day transformation. And then, or you've got some person who's a real geek about the green foods, then you can turn to, what page is that?
I love this page so much.
Yes.
Page 9. It's about Purium's 20 commitment to purity, and it talks about it gives you the list, right? No artificial colors, no artificial flavors. And as a K person, I love information. As a K person, I just will, you show this to another K person and they'll be like, oh my goodness, look at that,
I'll tell you what, Stacy Newton, if she had approached me a year ago and I had this magazine, I would totally have pointed to this, the Million Mom Movement, and, well, Mom on a Mission, and the Million Mom Movement, which is the page right after. Especially for someone like, for Stacy, who's an organic mom, these type of articles she'd absolutely love. So, or you've got somebody who's just an entrepreneur, then you can turn to the page with Robert Kiyosaki on it. That's why I love this magazine, is because it talks to so many different people, whether it be a family who, like the Shonda DeCosta story, or you've got David Scultetti, who's been an entrepreneur for most of his life. You can point to, that's why we love to post-it note the Prosper magazines before we send them out to our family and friends and to prospects. And we just say, hey, we were thinking about you, and I saw this article in this magazine, and so I wanted to send it to you. So that's how we use Prosper. I hope that helps, Karen.
Absolutely. Well, we have Regina back, but I want to just take a little aside here. I have several friends watching you guys this morning, and I'm drinking my Power Shake and not thinking that I'm visible because I'm keeping the camera on you and Regina, and I'm getting messages saying, hey, I see you drinking your Power Shake, and I said, well, that's a marketing tool, okay? The world will get to see me drinking this incredibly delicious shake.
Right.
Sneaky, but I guess not.
That's right.
Okay, Regina, take it away. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Okay. No, I ran to get the magazines because when I met with these ladies, they totally sold me on the magazines as a as a tool, you know, for sharing, and I had some resistance about that. So I left converted with some homework to order magazines. So I just ran to get the magazine.
Oh, yay!
To check that off my homework list.
Your homework, yay!
That's right. Yay.
When did you get that?
I ordered it. I got it yesterday.
Wow! And you ordered it on when?
What was yesterday? I ordered it Monday, I think.
Wow, that was Monday, Tuesday,
Wow.
Wednesday, Thursday. Oh my gosh!
You know what though? Here's why. Every time I order on 2-day FedEx.
Oh,
Because
gotcha.
it ends up being like maybe $4 more.
Oh yeah, because it's cheaper for you there on the mainland, of course.
Yeah.
That makes total sense.
Yeah,
Ooh, I
it ends
like
up being
that.
like $4 more, and it comes right to my house. If I do the regular
Wow.
shipping, it goes through the U.S. Postal Service, and because I
Wow.
live on a rural route, they don't do a good job of finding me.
Oh,
So
gosh.
plus I just get it quicker that way, which is awesome.
Wow, good for you. Look at you doing your homework, girl. I'm so proud of you. Now, here's the deal. Is you're starting to build belief in the magazine. Remember, we had the
Yeah.
conversation about building belief in the magazine and the events. Ladies, that's
Yeah.
one huge thing. If you can understand the power of the events and the magazines, then you will totally be able to utilize it to create the success that you deserve in your business. But it really starts with you first. You need to build belief with the magazine. And it's really a powerful piece. But once you grasp it and go, oh my God, those girls are right. This is a powerful piece to create credibility. There is something to be said when you hand someone a magazine and then they go, oh, okay, you are the real deal. All right, I'll take a look at this. So I'm so proud of you, Regina, for getting your magazines. That's awesome.
Well, I didn't leave thinking there was an option, Geralyn. I mean, you don't go and spend an afternoon with these ladies and listen to their story and leave thinking that you shouldn't pay attention, right?
Thank you.
So, yes, so I'm coachable. She looked at me at one point when I was telling her my story about my whatever I had going on about the magazines, and she just looked at me. Now she's little, you can't tell on the video. She's a little fairy. She's a Purium fairy, but when she gives you that look, you just stop. Everything stops. She gives you that look. I'm like, okay, I get it. How high? Just tell me. Oh, so that was, you guys, this is perfect. You're covering all the questions that I have for you. What is besides the magazine, what is your favorite tool if you don't have a magazine with you? Where do you send people?
Transformation brochure is one thing for people who need tangible. The one where Dave Sandoval looks like Michael Bolton, that brochure, and also I like to use the BeHealthyBeCool.com site, BeHealthyBeCool.com.
Yeah. Some of us are recently using that.
Yeah, and I like to get people, you know, if I'm standing there with them, I'll just have them take out their smartphone and just text Purium to 55678. I love that tool. And of course, you know, adding them, if they're on Facebook, if I find out that they're on Facebook, then I'm going to add them, ask them if I can add them to the Healthy Happy Hour page. And when I add, I not only just add them to the Healthy Happy Hour page, I'm going to tag them in about 3 or 4 photos of people with similar body types, and so that they can see some amazing results.
Yeah. So they can start to picture it for themselves, right?
Yeah. And then now they're going to use that Healthy Happy Hour page as a tool, and every time you add someone, you tag someone in a photo, it brings that post to the top of the page on Facebook. And so when people sign in to Facebook, that's what they're going to see first. They're not going to see a bunch of text, you know. So it's good to always tag photos, which brings it to the top of the page.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Ladies, what is your follow-up system? So you you have people enrolled, right? You have people enrolled. They've ordered their product. What's your flow for following up with them? How do you enroll them so they feel like they're part of the family?
Usually through Facebook messaging. You know, if we know that they're on Facebook, or text messaging, or just calling them. And you know, it's a good practice to stay in touch with people. You know, to follow up with them. You know, after you've given them the information and you want to find out, okay, so have you made a decision how you would like to use your $50 gift card? You know, I always ask them, how would you like to use your $50 gift card? Would you like to buy, become a retail member, join, or promote? And I say, well, how many gift cards would you like to have? And so I follow up that way. Another way is to follow up with them while they're on the transformation, make sure that they are feeling supported, because you know, people will tend to have better results knowing that they're supported.
Mm-hmm.
And also in the business, following up with them to see, you know, I personally love to get on one-on-one calls with people, or even team calls, and just see how they're doing, see, you know, if they're having any difficulties. And oftentimes it's just a mindset of, you know, they're still seeing this as, you know, if someone is new to network marketing, they see this as having to be a salesperson. So I follow up to see where they're at in their mindset about sharing gift cards, and just go over the simple shift of being a salesperson to, you know, you are blessing people. You have this amazing tool. You have $50 gift cards that you can give away to bless the people you love in your life. What a gift that is, you know? And so it's just a shift of mindset that you're not selling. You're blessing people. I mean, that's what happened to us. So, you know, we're paying it forward. And that's you know, when people get that, they go, oh, now I get it. That's, wow, I didn't see it that way. You know, it's just being able to paint a picture for them to make it easier for them to share.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's great.
Well, and you know what's great is that, you know, when you enroll someone direct to you, Purium is really great about those emails. Do you see those follow-up emails that they help to remind you? That's another great way to be able to remember that you got to touch base with these beautiful people.
Mm-hmm. Yes, good point. Awesome. So talk to us about building 2 events.
Oh, that's a good one.
Because that's another thing I came to you with, right? I had the resistance to the magazines and I had the resistance to the event. Right? And Arna told me something really important that kind of like I had to get my jaw back off the floor, had not considered. You remember what you told me, Arna, about the staff?
What did I say?
Huh?
What did I say?
About the 1,000 BV?
Oh, yes, that's right. That's right. Yes. We learned from David Scultetti that with every person you bring to an event, a major event, like a Crown University or a regional event or the convention, and there are so many of these going on all over the place nowadays, and it's easier, you know, I think on the mainland for you guys to get to the nearest Crown U than it is for us here in Hawaii. But you know, we have a lot of events taking place here. But with every person you're able to get to an event, that's 1,000 business volume to you next month, this month or next month. And what would that? So you know, for us, I think it was we began the business in September of 2013, and in October we had our first regional event here. I believe we had at least 30 people there. Well, that's 30,000 BV, and we ranked Green Diamond that month in October.
Wow. Wow.
And then leading from event to event. So leading from event to event basically means it could start off with conference calls, getting your team plugged into the conference calls, whether it be like your mastermind calls or the team calls. We consider conference calls an event. Now, the other obviously physical events would be the healthy happy hours that you have in your homes weekly. So you're building from event to event, which leads to another big event, which would be maybe a super healthy happy hour or a Crown University. And then the Crown University would build to another event, which would be your regional event. And then, of course, we all want to funnel everyone to the national convention. So I will tell you what, I've seen it over and over, girls, where these men and women on your team who come to these events, whether it be the calls or the physical events, they walk away feeling empowered, inspired, motivated, that they will go and do something. That's the hope, right? Is for everybody to get the information and go do something. So that's why the events are so powerful. And so then you can understand how when you have more of your team members there, it's this quantum effect where now all of them are going to go out and go do something. And hence the 1,000 BV. I hope that makes sense.
It does.
That's what's helped us for sure.
Yeah, that makes total sense. How do you start with inviting someone? If you have someone in mind that you'd like to get to an event, do you just invite them?
Yeah.
Or do you start with bringing them to a call and getting them plugged in that way and then talking to them about the event? Or
I guess it depends on timing too. You know, like say you were having a healthy happy hour that night, like tonight, and you met someone, right? And you go, hey, why don't you just come to my healthy happy hour tonight? It's really, it's not a big deal, but it would be great for you to check out the products and you can taste the Power Shake, and we just do a little presentation. It's that, or you lead them to a call like tonight. Wait, what is today? Oh, today's Friday. If it was yesterday, I would invite them to the business opportunity call that was happening at 4 o'clock Hawaii time. So it depends on what's the closest event to you. But by all means, if it's a healthy happy hour in your community, in your neighborhood, you definitely want to get them to that. Because there's obviously a different vibe going on when there are people in a room, right?
Right.
It's a party. So,
yeah. Got it. Cool. Well, just looking at our time a little bit here and wanted to give some people kind of open it up and see if there are some other questions out there on the floor. And I want to introduce the group as well. I mentioned them briefly at the beginning, but this is our weekly mastermind group, plus there are visitors out there as well that you can't see on the screen. So let's start with Dr. Karen, who actually set the call up for us. She's got this is her technology find. We're doing this on Google Hangouts on Air, which is what's allowing multiple people to be on video at the same time, which is an awesome tool.
Wow.
So Dr. Karen, thanks for getting this all set up for us today, and wondering if you have something that stands out for you about today's call, like a nugget that you're taking away, or a question that you have for these ladies.
Well, really, my mind is racing. I mean, just sitting here listening, my mind is racing, my heart is beating. I cannot wait. I don't want this to be over, but once it is over, I just want to take off running. And I'm interpreting this as one of the events that you talked about, Geralyn.
Yes.
I can really see the impact of having the opportunity to listen to a training or be in front of those who have already done it, and I feel empowered. I feel like I can, the minute this is over, I'm going to be dolling for dollars, I will be talking for health, I'll be doing all those things. So I'm very excited, and I'm very excited that it just turns out that I'm fortunate enough to have such a large number of my friends and family join me at the upcoming regional next weekend, Regina.
Hey.
And so with that in mind, what you just said implanted in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, wow, And the other thing about having those people involved in events, like you said, not only will we be increasing our wealth, you know, as our business grow, but that's how many more people will be getting healthy as well. So it's incredible. This is way more than I ever envisioned that this call would bring. So I can't wait to get the link out to the world, you know, for those who join us because they're working on their JOBs. But this information is priceless. Thanks,
Awesome.
Regina. Thank you. Great interview.
See that emotion right there, Karen? That now multiply it by the tens of thousands of people being, if you brought people to event, boom. You can see that, right? How they'll now run out and want to do something, exactly what you're going to do. They want to run out and go do something, get people healthy. And that's how your organization grows and your business grows, by all these people getting so excited. Now the regional event, can you imagine people, your family and friends watching Dave Sandoval? He is, have you seen him yet? Yeah, you have.
Oh, many times. Yeah. We had dinner together, remember?
That's right.
Yeah.
Imagine, I mean, that to me is a deal clincher right there. When people see that man on stage, it is like, oh my gosh, this man is the real deal. He is unlike any other CEO you will ever meet, right? And so that to me is powerful, for them to see where the products come from, which is from design of this man and Amy Venner. That, hands down, it's one of the deal clinchers for sure. I'm so proud of you. Oh,
you know what, Geralyn? You know what's so funny? And this is, I'm going to say this because I hope everyone listens that have not tried Purium. I do remember, and she's going to be introduced in a second. I remember being at that dinner, and I was extremely blessed because I got introduced to Purium by the Purium creator. I was in his company for hours. I was able to tour the facility. I watched how they put the products together. I met Amy. I did all this before I put Purium in my body. And as I sit here and reflect back to then, and thank you so much for Geralyn for posting that picture that same day. I had no idea I looked that bad. But what I also didn't realize is how toxic I was, because I had that beautiful opportunity to meet these people face to face, share dinner with them, go to their facility. But I was so toxic and so sick because I hadn't had Purium in my body yet that I sat through that interview. I mean, I sat through that whole experience like this.
Mm-hmm.
I knew
remember.
You remember. I knew I was going to use the product because I wanted to get skinny. Right. But I left that whole beautiful weekend experience with the thought still in my head, I will not do this as a business. Mm-hmm. Do not ask me, Renee. Do not talk to me. That is what happens with this. Not only is our body toxic and manifesting disease, but these toxic ingredients and environments is making our mind toxic.
Yes.
And so that we're not thinking clearly. So now that I'm clean and healthy, to even think that I sat there like this, it's mind-boggling. It is. I can't believe it. I should have been running out of that door, you know, knocking on doors as I got home.
Right.
But I wasn't. Incredible.
Oh my gosh.
Incredible.
You know what, the thing too, Karen, is that you eventually did say yes.
Oh, yes.
Because you knew you needed to get healthier. I remember you saying you had to go on a cruise.
Yeah.
And that you're going to get it done before or after or whatever it was. But the mere fact that you were still like this, but you did say yes to the health benefits of Purium. That's why we always lead with the product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
so
you.
Proud of you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great story.
And because you said yes, look, we've met Regina, we've met all these beautiful women.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, you said
Right?
yes. Awesome.
Right?
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I know. Karen, doesn't Karen have amazing energy?
Yes.
Could you say no to her? I couldn't say no to her.
No, and I know your why's pretty big, Karen, so that's powerful. Right on.
Thank you, guys.
So next we go to Dr. Joni Kirk, my longtime friend. We met in another opportunity. I don't know how many years ago. I think 2000, 2001, something like that. So I've known Joni for a while. Joni's up in Alaska, and Joni is a naturopath, and so she is like having a great time discovering Purium and incorporating it into her practice in her own body, but also with her patients as well. Right, Joni?
I am. Yep. Thanks, Regina. Thanks, Geralyn, Arna. It's great to see you again. It's been an amazing journey for me, and I thank Renee for that and for introducing me to everybody. It's just been a blast. And I think what I come away with today is really being able to piece the tools together in a way that's really where I could feel where somebody is, where I can meet someone, where I meet them right where they are. And I know that I have tools all the way along that I can share with them. So I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. Thank you.
Joni, any questions remaining for you for Geralyn and Arna, or anything that stood out for you today that you're taking away?
I think the piece about the piece about the Prosper magazine and how to utilize the Prosper magazine, I think I just want to sit down with it a little more and really share it, because it does cater and focus on each group. Like yesterday, I sat with a friend of mine whose husband is a naturopathic doc who I went to college with, or naturopathic college with, and I showed him that back page about the doctor page, and he's really looking forward to it. He's going to do the cleanse himself, and
Awesome. Thank you.
So I'm thrilled.
That's great, Joni. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good example right there, that magazine, and thank you so much for using it, Doctor. Right on.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah. We're excited to visit you in Alaska.
You should be.
Yes.
Because it's very different from here. I'm going to show you something.
Okay.
Wow.
That's the view from my office.
Oh, wow.
And our gardens down below.
Oh my gosh. Garden?
So,
So cool.
I'm in a turtleneck this morning and not in tank tops like everybody else.
Wow.
Wow.
We would love to have you come up and do an event up here with us. It would be a blast.
Oh gosh, yes.
All invited. Huh?
We're looking forward to coming to Alaska this year.
Very good.
Yay.
We need a regional or something up in Alaska there.
Right?
Well, Stacy and I were talking about, I think Renee and Stacy and I were on a call and said, well, maybe we should do a Crown U up here after the National. The weather will be great. It'll be long days. We'll have lots of people here that are involved with Purium by then.
Renee. Yeah, Renee. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's good. There's enough time to build up to a Crown U, and the qualifications for a Crown U in your respective city is a minimum of 50 distributors in a room. So I would think by then we could build up to, with Alaska, to at least 50 distributors. Don't you girls think? Yeah. Right on.
I'm gonna take that in right now and swallow hard and go yes.
All right. Okay. Awesome. We still do not have any diamonds in Alaska.
Yes.
So we would love for you to be the first diamond in Alaska, Dr. Joni.
Okay.
That would be awesome.
That would be a great distinction, Joni.
Yeah.
It would be fun. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm on my way.
Yay.
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 All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dr. Joni. Okay,
Thank you, Regina. Thank you, Geralyn, Arna.
Thank you, sweetie.
So now I'm going to go to Michelle Burke, whom we cannot see, but I'm hoping we can hear. Can you hear us, Michelle? Are you able to? Is your mic open? No, not able to say anything. Okay, all right. Hopefully she's hearing us, but she isn't able to share back with us at this.
Hello, Michelle.
Aloha, Michelle.
Michelle. Love Renee.
All right. So I'm going to move over to the lady that started it all for this team. This is Renee Ben Ruby, the diamond lead on our team, and the one who told every single rest of us about it. So it's because of Renee, we all owe a great debt of gratitude. Moves my heart because we're all here because Renee said yes to Purium. So thank you for saying yes, Renee, and thank you for sharing the gift cards, especially with nasty, stubborn people like Dr. Karen Copeland and myself.
I have to say, you're very funny, and I appreciate it. First of all, really, really blessed to be able to be here with some of the dearest people that I have known for a very, very long time. To be able to come together and do something like this that feels so real and fun and heartfelt is incredibly moving. You know, I just sit here and look at everybody's faces. It's just really touching for what it's done for everybody personally and where it's taken us all. It's really, really touching. I have to read you Michelle's text before I get all emotional. She said, also very much appreciate being on the call and for all the inspiration that was shared. What a special group of friends you have. Such huge, I couldn't read the rest of it. Such huge hearts. So clear how they will all be successful. How could they not be? Wish I could talk. Aloha.
Oh, that's awesome, Michelle.
Yeah, so that's from Michelle, who you haven't seen yet. But, you know, we all go back a really long ways together and have done some amazing things together. And it's just a really great venue and opportunity for us to do some even more amazing things together. And, you know, there's a lot of love here and a lot of desire here for everyone to have the dreams fulfilled that we all have together. So it's really a blessing to have met Geralyn and Arna because the vibe is perfect.
The vibe is perfect.
Like this, like that's the whole thing, because I keep coming back to it's how you feel and what your connection is. And, you know, I don't think if this hadn't originated and we hadn't seen the manufacturing plants and really felt the integrity of the product and meeting Amy, who, you know, I tell little snippets of the stories from that day because they still stuck with me about the intention and the purity that they were committed to for their products. And meeting David and seeing, you know, his vision, and, you know, it's just been incredibly, it's been a trip. And I can guarantee you everybody on this call swore that they were not going to do a business.
That's right.
Or everyone, including myself, everyone said no to the business, you know, and everyone was like this, and everybody, you know. You know, so forget where we ranked to. It's like, look how far we've come even in being open.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
You know, and so it was really great what you said, Karen, because it's really true about toxicity. You know, when you're closed, you just shut down, and that's the link to Joni, who always says, which I really love, is meet everyone where they are. You know, and I hold that in my head as well, because it's, you know, if I didn't appreciate Karen for where she was and Regina for where she was and myself during this whole process, because when we moved from the West Coast to the East Coast, I probably ate more crap than I've ever eaten in my life, you know, and the thing of not giving myself a hard time and, you know, just really being able to go, you know, everyone is where they are, doing the very best they can with whatever they have available to them.
Yeah.
You know, and if we can remember that and just really tune in and connect and listen, you know, we'll all be in this together for quite a while.
Yeah.
Great.
That's a wonderful reminder, Renee, you know, because we know the power of the 10-day transformation, right? And you just almost want to go, why aren't you getting it? You know, oh, you really could use this. I'm so tired of hearing your story about your gout and your diabetes and you're practically dying. Why don't you get this? But you know what? It has to be on their time. So I'm going to remind you girls about this. You just keep doing what you're doing, and it will hit them when they need to be, when they need it the most. But you're going to be right there to support them, because it does get frustrating when you know you have family and friends who are suffering, but you know you meet them where they're at. I love that. It's a great reminder.
I love that, Renee. Thank you so much for sharing that.
That originated with Joni, and that's what I love about all of us, because we all take things from each other, and it kind of comes into that big soup.
I love
it. That we then share. So yeah, we have a great team.
Meet them where they're at. I love that.
Thank you so much, Renee. So loved meeting you. I'm so blessed that I got to meet you in person last year with Karen.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that. I remember sitting across a dinner too with Karen. Why am I even here? Remember that, Karen?
Sorry, Karen. It's like the best story.
All I was thinking was just give me stuff so I can go.
Right.
Yeah. You know? Because I was going on that cruise. I was not going on that cruise looking like I was looking, okay? And that's all I needed was the stuff. I need the
I have to say, I was really surprised to even see you at the manufacturing tour the next day. When I saw you there, I was like, oh my God, you're here.
He came back to prove it. He came back to prove it wrong.
Yes, that's right.
Well, stuff. I went there to purchase it and pick it up. Renee was holding out on me, Geralyn. So, you know, that's another marketing tool.
Oh, that's so funny.
Definitely the poster child story.
It's so classic. I love it. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, girls. This is, wow, what an honor and a blessing to be here with all of you on this beautiful Aloha Friday. I'm so happy that you gather together at least once a week to do these calls. This is powerful.
Yeah, we're an awesome group, and really so blessed that Regina lives so close to Carmel that she could Uber you guys and Uber you into our room right now.
That's right.
Gosh.
I love Ubering with these ladies.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't?
They're uber cool.
Uh-huh.
And hopefully, you know what, and just to put it out there, March 28th, we're going to be, we're working together with Regina and some other team members in the Northern California area to find a location for the next Crown University. So,
I have a name and number for you to call, which I'll Facebook message you.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you.
She asked me a lot of questions that I didn't have any of the answers for, so I told her about you and said I'll put you guys straight in touch with each other.
It's a location, Renee? A location?
No, you know who I put them in touch with, who will be perfect for them, is Kelly Newland, who does this all over the country.
Oh, right.
Wow.
She's an event planner, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a what?
She's an event planner.
Oh,
So
great.
she has,
Is Kelly doing Purium?
huh?
Is she doing Purium?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I have
Here we go.
Yeah, I'm voting for San Jose.
Okay.
For that location. So we'll talk.
Yeah, somewhere near the airport.
Great idea.
Exactly. Very near the airport in San Jose, easy to come in and out, cheaper than San Francisco.
Right.
And I think we'll pull together both the people that are up north of there in Marin, Sonoma, and the people that are down south in Carmel, Monterey, and beyond. So,
And it's cheaper to fly into San Jose than San Francisco for those of us who will be flying in.
yes,
Oh, really?
Yeah, much cheaper. Yes.
Oh, okay, that's good to know.
yeah, San Jose is right for that, for a location. But we'll talk.
Okay.
Okay, great. So, just one more thing that came up to my mind, Renee, when you were talking, is that because you had talked about moving back east from California, right? So Renee moved out with her family to the West Coast, and she was here for a year, and then they moved back. They would not have foreseen that when they got out here, but they had a change, and they moved back to Florida. And it crossed my mind when you were just now talking that possibly the whole reason that you guys were moved out west for that year was so that you could be at that event in Long Beach and meet David and start this whole ball.
Wow.
I would have never met the woman who introduced me had we not been living there.
That's right.
So, you know, synchronicity of how a friend of ours always says coincidence. I don't think so.
Oh, I love it. Well, thank you so much, girls. We really appreciate your time and your energy and everything you're doing out there to uphold Amy and Dave's mission and really just simply getting people healthier. Thank you.
Thank you, too.
Thank you, Arna and Geralyn. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for getting up so early, 6:30 in the morning, Hawaii time. I heard the rooster crowing. Thank you for setting time aside to be with us. We so appreciate it. I got so much. I took all kinds of notes as you're going along, and I'm going to go back and watch this again because there's just so much here. So, aloha. We love you.
Love you guys.
Hey, everyone.
Aloha.
Bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Gina.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Karen.
Have a
Okay.
great day.
Actually, I will sit here and watch it all over again too. As soon as I stop broadcasting. So
Running down the neighborhood.
incredible, incredible.
Bye, ladies.
Thank you, everyone.